There he is. Woo! The Maniac.
What's up, dude? Thanks for having me on here.
Man, if you guys don't know, this is John Molizak, Maniac's Garage, born 49, one of the baddest builders out there. He's been building for like 30 decades, dude. Just like, man, 300 years, dude. So I'm just joking, not 300, but you've been building for what, 20 years?
25 or 30 years. Yep.
Man, pretty amazing. And John, tell us, dude. Tell us about your experience at SEMA. Tell us about what Born 49 is, the meaning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so thanks, man. I appreciate that opportunity. So the car, well, first of all, let me just tell you a little bit about the car, right? So it's a 49 Ford Shoebox. It's body swapped onto a 2008 BMW 335i, right? So full body, full chassis swap. We got the motor, tranny, running gear, suspension, everything's BMW. So we came up with this name Born Again because obviously it's two meanings, but the first meaning is that the car, the old 49 is born again as a new BMW, which is obvious. The other thing is that the guys and I that worked on it were born again believers in Christ. And so we wanted to use this car as a tool to kind of promote, that God can heal, marriages, can get you out of addictions and get you, a hope in the future. And who can't use a little more hope and a little more good news in this world, right? So that's really what the name is. And that's where we are.
And for you guys that don't know, John, from building churches to building cars, man, John, every time I'm around you, you make me strive to want to be a better person every time. Like, I want to be a better person. Every time I see you, I'm like, man, I need to up my game and just be a better person. And man, I can't tell you that how blessed I am to even know you, man. I'm pumped to know you.
Kent, you're too kind, man. You're too kind. And I'm super stoked that I got to meet you. I met you through my best friend, Robert Wilson, the infamous Robert Wilson. And you guys actually introduced me to the whole Instagram world, so about 6 years ago, fired up a little rat rod page from zero. And here it is today. Maniac's Garage, and I think we're gonna turn over to 430,000 hopefully like tonight. So
man,
super cool, man. So I'm really glad to know you, man.
And tell us about you started the page from absolutely nothing, right? From zero. You guys you and Robert were in a room. He probably started it for you and said, hey, let's go. And then now you're, almost 500,000. It's crazy. So tell us about the journey on how you got there.
Well, the journey was long. Like I said, it was probably 6 years. I think we started at a good time as far as Instagram was concerned. But I think the takeaway with it is that we stayed with it. And we would post probably 3 to 5 times a day for that entire time. I mean, there are a couple of times in the 6 years where I kind of lost steam and, I called you and I'm like, hey, Ken, you want the page? What do you want to do? Because I'm kind of tired of it. and then you didn't want it. And then you came back to me later and you're like, you want to get rid of it? And I was like, no, I don't want to get rid of it. I love this thing. It's really fun.
Oh, man. So let's talk about the Born 49. So you're basically, you'll be featured in the Ultimate Rides on A&E, right? And you're featured in Hot Wheels, right? As a Battle of the Hot Wheels builder.
Yeah. So the guys from Ultimate Rides reached out to me, and we put together an episode where they featured this. This was one of 4 cars that they featured. It just came out right before SEMA, which was perfect for us as far as publicity. And I've always known about the Hot Wheels Legends, challenge. And I thought when we started building this car, I thought, man, this car would be a really cool contender for a Hot Wheels build, being that it's so wild looking, And so I entered it. And unfortunately, I didn't have my interior not done, but not even started at that point yet. So I couldn't show that. And, but we got in and we got accepted. We went to the first round and it was cool. It was received really well. You can actually see that it's on a Facebook Live on Hot Wheels. We have it on our YouTube channel as well, recorded. So you guys can go check that out. But we didn't make it, further than that, but it was a cool experience and we definitely got some good, publicity out of it. So it was fun.
So Robert Wilson, you and Brad DeBerti have something in common.
Yeah, yeah. What is it?
6 wheels.
6 wheels, baby. Yep. And we're insane, probably too. We're maniacs.
Maniacs. Like all 3 of you guys are maniacs. And you guys, I mean, what year in the 90s, right? 20 years ago, you and Robert built some 6-wheel vehicles, right? And I don't even
Yep.
before Brad was born. So what's crazy is like he probably didn't even know that you built a 6-wheel vehicle way back. And it's so crazy to see the build that he did was absolutely a maniac build. Like it was an insane build. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. So Robert and I met, I was 15 and I just landed in California from, a different country. So huge culture shock. But I meet Robert, he's 16. Actually, no, it's the other way around. He's 15. He doesn't even have a driver's license yet. And he's driving this 620 Datsun that's so low that you got to like rock it over speed bumps, right? And so we get to be buddies, and we are in a car club, truck club. And there's a point where we're like, we got to up our game. And he's like, you know what? By that time, he's got a 720 Nissan. And he's like, I'm going to 6-wheel this thing. And then we're like, well, cool. How about like Lambo doors, So he does Lambo doors and 6 wheels on this Nissan. Like it's probably 1989, 1990. And I have a Scirocco at the time. I have a 79 Scirocco that's already like we're showing the cars. And so it's already a show car, And I go, dude, I'm going to do my car 6 wheels then. And we're going to going door it. And we did. It took a couple of years.
Hold on. Let's talk
and we got it done.
Let's talk about how you did the 3D animation. Like how'd you even come up with how'd you do that?
Yeah. So the 3D animation back in 1990 was basically, Polaroids. And, you took 2 pictures, duplicates, and you cut them, and you pieced them together, and you're like, okay, I think, because at first I was going to extend the whole roof with it, and it was going to be like a wagon with 6 wheels, and I was like, no, that's not going to look cool. So then we just extended the trunk part and actually had, 6 wheels that way. So it was all done with pictures, and I probably still have them actually somewhere. I should have had them here to show to you guys, but maybe I'll post it later on my page, because it's pretty funny.
So let's talk about the Maniac Garage meaning. What does it mean to you?
So Maniac's Garage, man, so it's really cool what it actually turned into, right? So we started with this Instagram page. It's kind of a fun little hobby. And about 2-3 years ago, I'm like, we got to build a car, because I haven't built. So I used to build all these cars, right, Ken? So the Scirocco is one of many. Chopped Astrovan, a whole bunch of other things. Worked with Mazda, worked with Ford. Had a bunch of cars at SEMA over the years. And then about 17 years ago, I took a big hiatus. I moved out to Arizona, raised a family, built a real estate business, and I started itching. Like 3 years ago, I'm like, I got to build a car again, and how am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I thought, well, I got this Instagram page. I might as well piggyback it off of it and build it that way. And so that's kind of how, so Maniac's Garage, I put the word out on this car, because I had this thing has been in my mind for quite some time to do this, body swap kind of a deal. I didn't know what cars I was going to use, but, ended up being the 49 and the BMW. And I put a rendering out. I had a rendering done, and I put it out on my personal social. And a few of my local friends here, they're like, they don't know me as the car guy, they haven't seen that. And so they're like, what are you going to do? I think we'd like to be involved, right? So all of a sudden we had like probably about 5 guys and one of their daughters. So one, 16-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl helping us. And that's how we started the build. And so Maniac's Garage is kind of just a bunch of buddies, if you will, not pro builders. I mean, I have background in it, but I haven't, used the welder at that time for quite a while. And so these guys, just started spending all their Saturdays building this thing. And so that's what Maniac's Garage is. And we'll see where we'll take it from here. We got some ideas for it. But, that's kind of how it came about.
Man, super inspiring, man. And so any advice to young builders, old builders wanting to make it to SEMA, wanting to build something, advice?
Yeah. So I'd say you got to put your time in, unfortunately. That's the reality. You got to start somewhere. You got to start small. Build your car, get it out there to shows, get people to see it. And, you got to stay true to your sponsor. So once you get somebody to get behind you, you got to make sure you come through for them. And it will start with the wheel sponsor. it'll get into, you know, other sponsors. And, you know, to get the SEMA, somebody's got to take you, right? Somebody's got to, you know, underwrite the thing. So I'd say, you know, first of all, get started, get off the video games, stop building the car on the video games. You know, that's cool for when you don't have a license. Once you got a license, start building a real car, and then just build up from there.
What do you mean by coming through for sponsors? What do you mean by coming through?
So what I mean by that is I think that some people luck out to get a sponsor and get something, you know, given to them for their build, and then they fail to come through on it. So nothing's free in life. Even sponsored product that you get for free is not free. You gotta, you know, bring the promotion back to them. You gotta, you know, put the time in, you know, with that. So that's what I mean about coming through for your sponsors. And then you build on the next one and the next one. And what happened for me is literally it was a wheel sponsor. I was building my chopped Astro van. I was working at a shop, and just so happened, like I heard the stories with the other guys, it's like it just so happened, right, that this guy that came in, he was a client, you know, he was getting another car built. You know, I was just a worker over there.
What year was this?
This was probably early 2000s.
Okay.
So late 90s, probably even. And this guy happened to be a marketing guy for American Racing Wheels. And they're like, you're building a chopped Astro van? Are you going to have it done for SEMA? I never heard of SEMA before. And my boss goes, yeah, we'll have it done for SEMA. And then the guy goes, well, if you guys have it done, I'll give you wheels. I'll bring you guys. I want to feature the car. And so that was my first SEMA. I got those wheels, and then that kind of just, you know, grew to, you know, got audio, got everything else, right? I had 20 speakers. It was gnarly, you know. And then the next build was easier because now I had that credibility behind me. And you had to, you know, like I said, you have to come through and make sure that you did those things for them. And eventually, my biggest thing was that I got kind of discovered by the chief designer of Mazda USA. I had a Honda Accord wagon at the time that almost made it into Fast and Furious, but didn't. It was full caged wagon, dumped on 19s. So I go between styles, you know, like I get bored. And he saw me and he's like, dang, you know. So anyway, I got a Mazda, you know, I got onto the dollar program with them, and I was able to build like 5 Mazdas for the next 3 years, you know, and a Ford. So that's what my advice is: start small, don't give up, and just keep chipping away at it, you know, and make sure that you honor the contracts that you get into.
So cool thing that, man, I loved about you, John, was at SEMA, right? You got to meet some people that you looked up to, right? Influencers that came up to you, right? And wanted to meet. And it was cool to hear your story on that.
For sure. Well, you know, right before me, right here, Garrett, right? So here is this guy with 2.2 million followers on Instagram, right? And he's like standing there, I'm talking to somebody, and I glance over, I'm like, oh, it's Garrett. And he's like, hey, dude, you know, so we like start chatting, you know, and he had to run, and I was talking, you know, but that was super cool, right? It's like humbling, you know. And then so then I got to meet. So actually, you know, the whole YouTube thing. So we've been tracking or documenting this build on YouTube for the last 2 years. We have almost 80 episodes now. So we started a YouTube channel 2 years ago, and the inspiration for that was some other YouTubers. I was watching other YouTubers building cars, and one of them was Chris with Bees for Built. And I got to meet him and chat with him and did an interview with him, which was super cool. And then another guy that I really look up to is Caleb from Built Official, you know, and he's you know, he's made it, you know, he's had some hard times and made it really, really good, you know, in this whole thing. And so to meet these guys, so I've built all these cars in the years past, and it was never like this. So this was a different experience this time. And, you know, with this car, and I think with just the whole social that's happening, you know, so it was just really cool to meet these guys. They inspired me. And I've met a lot of people that are like, have been following this build, you know, since day one. And I finally get to see it in person. And that's super humbling too, right? So that like inspires, you know, them, you know, like, well, inspires me, but, you know, we inspired them, you know, to get out and do something. So it's just this chain, you know, coming down. It's just really cool.
So you have an amazing group of friends, and your family's amazing. I mean, I love your family. And so you got Ryan, right? Jim, and your son Connor, right? Are your main guys that
yeah.
And it's really cool because I remember you, as you were building, you were able to bring your son on to be a part of the build. So tell us about that.
Well, that was really cool, actually, because he was like, you know, 18, 19 at the time. And, you know, he was kind of getting into cars. You know, he had a couple cars by then that he was playing with. But, you know, it's just this exercise of bringing him on and having him commit, because I asked him, do you want to commit to this? Because it's going to be like every weekend, and you're going to be shooting, and you're going to be editing and wrenching sometimes, you know? And he said, yeah. And you know what? It was supposed to be 1 year, right? But 2020 didn't happen, which actually worked out really good for us because it gave us more time to finish the car. But it also committed all these guys, yeah, you too, but it committed all these guys to one more year that they weren't really planning on dedicating their Saturdays to that, and some other nights. And the last, you know, 2 weeks was like nonstop working on the car. But it really brought us closer, you know, with my son, with Connor. I think it was a really cool experience, just good bonding, you know. So I would encourage people out there, you know, if you have, you know, and actually my daughter too, she's now 20, and she's actually working my Instagram page right now because I just can't keep up, you know, with comments and things. So it's cool to have, you know, your family involved. We're a tight family anyway, but this has just been a cool experience for sure.
Well, John, with that, man, thank you for joining us. I'm super blessed. Let's go ahead and take a quick walk around Born 49. If we can show the people, let's go ahead and open up the doors, take a lap around it, and yeah, give people a look at the Maniac mind.
Garage is a mess because I haven't stepped foot in it since I got back from SEMA, but that's the 49 right there.
Wow. Amazing, man.
You can find us right there.
Guys, be sure to follow Maniac's Garage. John, thank you for joining us, man. And everyone that's watching, thank you guys for tuning in. What a man, fantastic lineup tonight.
Cool, man. Well, thanks so much, Ken. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I'll see you around, man. I want to go cruising with you with Boosted Nova.
Hold on. We want to know if you're going to come to the quarantine cruise.
So I am going to come to one, but it's not going to be this next one.
Soon.
But I will be coming soon.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see you. Again, thank you, John, for joining us. And, man, we'll see you soon.
All right, bro. Thanks, Ken. Have a good night. Have a good night, everybody.